The Discipline Loop: Build Habits That Work Even When Motivation Fails, published by Midnight Audiobook. Introduction. How many times have you promised yourself that this time would be different? Maybe you started a new exercise routine with excitement, only to quit a few weeks later. Maybe you bought a course to learn a new skill, but never finished it. Perhaps you had a business idea, a personal goal, or a New Year's resolution that felt important at the beginning but slowly faded away. If this sounds familiar, you are not alone. Most people believe that success comes from motivation. They wait to feel inspired before taking action. They expect motivation to push them forward every day. The problem is that motivation is unpredictable. Some days you feel energized and ready to conquer the world. Other days you feel tired, distracted, or discouraged. When motivation disappears, progress often disappears with it. That is why so many goals remain unfinished. The truth is that lasting success is not built on motivation. It is built on discipline. And contrary to what many people think, discipline is not something you are born with. It is a skill that can be learnt, practiced, and strengthened over time. The good news is that you do not need extreme willpower or a perfect routine. Small actions repeated consistently can create remarkable results. A few minutes of effort each day can eventually transform your health, career, finances, relationships, and confidence. This book introduces a simple system called the Discipline Loop. It is a practical approach that helps you stay consistent, take action, and keep moving forward, even on the days when you do not feel motivated. In the chapters ahead, you will discover how to build habits that last, overcome procrastination, and create a system that works in the real world. Your goals are still possible. Your potential is still waiting. Let's begin the journey and learn how discipline can become your greatest advantage. Chapter 1. Stop waiting for motivation. David had a goal that sounded simple. He wanted to get fit. Like many people, he imagined a healthier version of himself, someone who exercised regularly, had more energy, and felt confident in their body. He bought workout clothes, watched fitness videos, and even created a plan. Every Sunday night, he promised himself that Monday would be different. Monday would be the day he finally started. But when Monday arrived, he didn't feel ready. He was tired from work, so he decided to begin on Tuesday. Tuesday brought new responsibilities and unexpected distractions. Then came a busy week, a family event, and a stressful month. Each time he told himself the same thing: I'll start when I feel more motivated. Weeks turned into months. Months turned into years. The desire to change never disappeared, but the action never arrived. David was not lazy, and he wasn't lacking intelligence or ambition. He simply fell into a trap that millions of people experience every day. He was waiting for motivation to show up before taking action. This habit affects nearly every area of life. Some people wait for motivation before exercising. Others wait before starting a business, learning a new skill, saving money, or writing a book. They believe they need a sudden burst of inspiration before they can begin. As a result, they spend more time preparing, planning, and thinking than actually doing. The problem is that motivation is unpredictable. It comes and goes like the weather. Think about your own life for a moment. There have probably been days when you felt unstoppable. You woke up energized, focused, and ready to work toward your goals. On those days, taking action felt easy. But there have also been days when you felt tired, distracted, stressed, or discouraged. Your energy was low, and even simple tasks felt difficult. If your progress depends entirely on how motivated you feel, then your results will rise and fall with your emotions. This is why motivation alone is such a dangerous foundation. It is temporary. It changes from day to day, and sometimes from hour to hour. Successful people understand this reality. They do not expect motivation to carry them through every challenge. Instead, they build a habit of taking action, whether they feel motivated or not. Many people assume that highly successful individuals are constantly inspired. They imagine entrepreneurs waking up excited every morning, athletes always eager to train, and writers always ready to create. The truth is much different. Successful people experience the same emotions as everyone else. They have days when they feel tired, bored, or unmotivated. The difference is that they do not allow those feelings to control their actions. One of the biggest lessons you can learn is that action often comes before motivation. Most people think the process works in the opposite direction. They believe motivation leads to action. In reality, action frequently creates motivation. When you take a small step forward, you begin building momentum. That momentum creates confidence, and confidence creates motivation. Consider a student preparing for an important exam. At first, studying may feel overwhelming. The student may have no desire to open a textbook. However, once they sit down and spend a few minutes reviewing the material, something begins to change. They understand a concept, solve a problem, or complete a section. Progress creates a sense of achievement, and that feeling encourages them to continue. What started as resistance slowly transforms into motivation. The same thing happens in fitness. Many people struggle to go to the gym because they are waiting to feel motivated. Yet countless exercisers discover that motivation appears after they begin moving. The hardest part is often putting on workout clothes and stepping through the gym door. Once the workout starts, energy levels rise, focus improves, and the desire to continue grows stronger. The action itself creates the motivation they were waiting for. This principle applies to almost every goal. Writers become motivated after writing the first page. Business owners gain confidence after making the first call. People who want to save money feel encouraged after making their first deposit. Progress creates positive emotions, not the other way around. One simple technique can help you put this idea into practice immediately. It is called the 5-minute rule. The concept is simple. When you don't feel like doing something, commit to doing it for only 5 minutes. Instead of focusing on the entire task, focus only on getting started. The reason this method works is because most procrastination happens before the task begins. Your mind turns a simple activity into something much larger and more difficult than it really is. A workout feels exhausting before it starts. A study session feels overwhelming before you open the book. A project feels impossible before you begin. But 5 minutes feels manageable. Almost anyone can commit to 5 minutes. If you want to exercise, promise yourself 5 minutes of movement. If you want to read more, commit to reading for 5 minutes. If you have a work project you've been avoiding, spend 5 minutes on the first step. The goal is not to complete the task. The goal is to break through resistance and start. What often happens is surprising. Once you begin, continuing becomes easier. 5 minutes turns into 10. 10 turns into 20. Even if you stop after 5 minutes, you have still succeeded because you took action. You strengthen the habit of showing up. The truth is simple but powerful. You do not need to feel ready before you begin. You do not need perfect conditions, endless confidence, or unlimited motivation. You only need the willingness to take one small step. Every meaningful achievement starts that way. As you move through this book, remember this lesson. Stop waiting for motivation to arrive. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is often the one you create through action. Motivation may help you start occasionally, but discipline keeps you moving when motivation disappears. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. Today, choose one goal you have been postponing and apply the 5-minute rule. Give it just 5 minutes of your attention. Start before you feel ready and discover how a small action can begin creating a powerful new direction for your life. Chapter 2. Small Habits, Big Results. Imagine two friends who decide to improve their lives. The first friend wants fast results. He creates a strict workout plan, promises to read 2 books every week, starts a complicated diet, and decides to wake up at 5 a.m. every day. The second friend chooses a different approach. He decides to walk for 10 minutes each day, read 5 pages before bed, and save a small amount of money every week. At first, the first friend seems more ambitious. His goals sound impressive. The second friend's actions appear too small to matter. But after a few weeks, the first friend becomes overwhelmed. The new routine feels difficult to maintain. He misses a day, then another, and eventually gives up. Meanwhile, the second friend keeps going. His habits are simple enough to fit into his daily life. Months later, those small actions have produced noticeable results. He is healthier, more knowledgeable, and financially stronger. This example reveals an important truth. Success is rarely the result of one big action. More often, it comes from small actions, repeated consistently over time. The habits that seem insignificant today often create the biggest changes tomorrow. Many people fail because they focus on massive goals instead of daily behaviors. They become excited about the outcome they want, but ignore the process required to achieve it. They try to change everything at once, believing that bigger effort will create faster results. Unfortunately, dramatic changes are difficult to maintain. When the excitement fades, the new routine usually disappears with it. Small habits work because they are easier to repeat. A habit does not need to be impressive to be effective. It only needs to be consistent. Reading 5 pages every day may not seem life-changing, but after a year, that simple habit can add up to several books. Walking for 10 minutes each day may not seem like much exercise, but over months it can improve health, energy, and confidence. This is where the power of consistency becomes clear. Consistency is not about being perfect. It is about showing up again and again, even when progress feels slow. Every small action is like placing another brick in a wall. One brick does not look important, but over time, those bricks create something strong and lasting. The compound effect explains why small habits matter so much. Just as money can grow through compound interest, your habits can grow through repeated effort. Small improvements may seem invisible at first, but they accumulate over time. Think about saving money. Imagine putting aside only a small amount each week. At first, the total seems insignificant. After a few months, however, the savings begin to grow. After a year, the difference becomes noticeable. The same principle applies to learning, fitness, relationships, and personal growth. A person who spends 15 minutes each day learning a new skill may not see dramatic results after 1 week, but after a year, they may possess knowledge and abilities that completely transform their opportunities. A person who improves their eating habits slightly each day may not notice immediate changes, but after several months, they often feel healthier and stronger. The challenge is that the compound effect works slowly. People often quit because they expect immediate results. They want visible progress within days. When they do not see dramatic changes, they assume their efforts are not working. In reality, the benefits are quietly building beneath the surface. Think of planting a seed. You do not see growth immediately. For a while, it appears as if nothing is happening, yet beneath the soil, roots are developing. Eventually, the growth becomes visible. Habits work the same way. The results may be delayed, but they are not absent. Building small habits starts with making them simple. The easier a habit is, the more likely you are to repeat it. Instead of committing to an hour of exercise, start with 10 minutes. Instead of trying to read an entire book, read a few pages. Instead of attempting a complete life transformation, focus on one small improvement. It is also important to focus on progress rather than perfection. Many people quit after making a mistake. They miss one workout, skip one study session, or break one healthy habit and then assume they have failed. But perfection is not required for success. What matters is returning to the habit as quickly as possible. Every successful person experiences setbacks. The difference is that they do not allow one mistake to become a permanent excuse. They understand that consistency is built through repetition, not perfection. As you continue your journey of discipline, remember that small actions are never truly small. Every positive choice strengthens your future. Every habit you repeat becomes part of the person you are becoming. The lesson of this chapter is simple but powerful. Small wins create momentum. Every small success builds confidence. Confidence encourages more action. More action creates better results. Over time, those results transform your life. Today, choose one small habit that takes less than 10 minutes to complete. Commit to repeating it every day for the next week. Do not worry about perfection. Focus only on consistency. Your future success may begin with a step so small that it seems insignificant today. Chapter 3. Make discipline easier. Sarah had made the same promise to herself dozens of times. She wanted to exercise regularly, eat healthier foods, and spend less time scrolling through social media. Every Sunday evening, she created a new plan. She felt motivated and confident that this time would be different. Yet by Wednesday, her enthusiasm had faded. After a long day at work, she felt tired and unmotivated. The gym seemed far away, healthy meals felt inconvenient, and her phone offered an easy escape. Within a few days, she had returned to her old habits. Like many people, Sarah believed she had a willpower problem. She thought successful people simply had stronger self-control, but the truth was different. Her problem was not a lack of willpower. Her environment was working against her. Many people depend entirely on willpower to achieve their goals. They assume discipline means constantly fighting temptation. They expect themselves to make the right choice every time, regardless of stress, distractions, or fatigue. The problem is that willpower is limited. It becomes weaker when you are tired, overwhelmed, or emotionally drained. Think about the end of a busy day. Making good decisions often feels harder than it did in the morning. This is why relying on willpower alone is such a risky strategy. Eventually, your energy decreases, and temptation becomes stronger. Successful people understand this reality. Instead of depending entirely on self-control, they create systems that make good choices easier and bad choices harder. They design their environment to support their goals. Imagine someone who wants to exercise in the morning. If they wait until they wake up to find their clothes, shoes, and equipment, they create extra resistance. However, if everything is prepared the night before, getting started becomes much easier. One small change removes several obstacles. The same principle applies to healthy eating. If unhealthy snacks are sitting on the kitchen counter, while nutritious foods are hidden away, making healthy choices becomes more difficult. On the other hand, placing healthy foods within easy reach increases the likelihood of choosing them. Your environment influences your behavior more than you may realize. The things you see every day affect the actions you take. If books are visible on your desk, you are more likely to read. If your phone constantly sends notifications, you are more likely to become distracted. If your workspace is organized, focusing becomes easier. Small environmental changes often produce surprisingly large results. A person trying to read more can place a book beside their bed instead of leaving it on a shelf. A person trying to drink more water can keep a water bottle nearby throughout the day. A person trying to spend less time on social media can remove unnecessary apps from their home screen. These changes may seem simple, but simplicity is exactly what makes them effective. Good habits become easier when they require less effort. Another powerful strategy is reducing friction. Friction is anything that makes a habit more difficult to perform. The more friction you remove, the more likely you are to follow through. Suppose you want to learn a new skill online. If you must search for materials, create accounts, and organize resources every time, you create barriers. However, if everything is prepared in advance, beginning becomes much easier. The opposite principle can also be useful. Increase friction for habits you want to avoid. If you spend too much time on your phone, place it in another room while working. If you watch too much television, make access slightly less convenient. Even small obstacles can reduce unwanted behavior. Discipline becomes easier when your environment supports your goals. Instead of fighting temptation every day, you remove temptation whenever possible. Instead of depending on motivation, you create conditions that encourage action. This approach is not about making life perfect, Challenges will always exist. There will still be difficult days and unexpected setbacks. However, when your environment supports your habits, staying consistent requires much less effort. Remember that success is often determined by systems rather than intentions. Many people have good intentions. They want to improve their health, finances, careers, and relationships. But intentions alone do not create results. Systems create results. When you build systems that make positive actions easier, discipline becomes less of a struggle. You no longer need to win a battle with yourself every day. The right choice becomes the easier choice. The lesson of this chapter is simple. Good systems beat good intentions. If you want lasting discipline, stop relying only on willpower. Start designing an environment that supports the person you want to become. Before moving to the next chapter, look around your surroundings and make one small change that supports a positive habit. Place a book where you can see it. Prepare tomorrow's workout clothes. Turn off a distracting notification. Small changes in your environment can create powerful changes in your behavior. Chapter 4. Win your morning, win your day. Every morning, two people wake up at nearly the same time, but their days unfold in completely different ways. Michael's alarm rings at 6:30 a.m. He gets out of bed, drinks a glass of water, makes his bed, and spends a few minutes planning his day. Before checking his phone, he reviews his most important task and takes a short walk outside. Nothing about his routine is complicated, but it gives him a sense of direction and control before the day begins. Across town, Jason wakes up at the same time. Before he even gets out of bed, he reaches for his phone. Within minutes, he is scrolling through social media, reading messages, checking news headlines, and reacting to notifications. What starts as a quick look turns into 20 or 30 minutes. Suddenly he feels rushed. He skips breakfast, leaves the house stressed, and spends the rest of the day trying to catch up. Neither man is smarter than the other. Neither has more talent, money, or opportunity. The difference lies in how they begin their mornings. The first hour of your day has more influence than many people realize. It often sets the tone for everything that follows. When you start your morning with intention, you are more likely to stay focused, productive, and positive throughout the day. When you begin by reacting to distractions, you often spend the rest of the day feeling scattered and overwhelmed. Think about how your mind works when you first wake up. Your brain is fresh. Your energy is usually higher than it will be later in the day. The choices you make during this time can either move you closer to your goals or pull your attention in a dozen different directions. This does not mean you need a perfect morning routine. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing they need to wake up at 5 a.m., meditate for an hour, run 10 miles, and follow a complicated schedule before they can have a successful day. For most people, that approach is unrealistic and difficult to maintain. The goal is not perfection, the goal is consistency. A strong morning routine should support your life, not control it. It should be simple enough that you can repeat it, even on busy days. Remember, discipline grows through consistency, not complexity. One of the easiest habits to start with is drinking a glass of water shortly after waking up. After several hours of sleep, your body is naturally dehydrated. Drinking water helps you feel more awake and energized. It is a small action, but it immediately sends a message to yourself that the day has begun with a positive choice. After all, you will probably return to it later. But making your bed creates an early sense of accomplishment. It is a small win that takes only a minute or two. More importantly, it begins building momentum. You have already completed one positive task before the day truly starts. Planning your day is another powerful habit. You do not need an elaborate system. A few minutes spent identifying your most important tasks can make a significant difference. When you know what matters most, you are less likely to waste time reacting to distractions. Instead of wondering what to do next, you already have a clear direction. Reading a few pages of a book can also improve your morning. Many people spend the first moments of their day consuming information from social media, news, or entertainment. While there is nothing wrong with these activities in moderation, they often fill your mind with noise before you have focused on your own goals. Reading even a few pages of a positive or educational book can provide inspiration and valuable ideas that stay with you throughout the day. Physical movement is another habit worth considering. This does not mean you need an intense workout every morning. A few stretches, a short walk, or several minutes of light exercise can boost your energy and improve your mood. Movement wakes up both the body and the mind, making it easier to approach the day with focus. The beauty of these habits is that they are flexible. A student can spend a few minutes reviewing study goals before class. A professional can use the morning to plan priorities for work. A parent can create a short routine that fits around family responsibilities. An entrepreneur can use the quiet hours of the morning to focus on important projects before daily distractions begin. The goal is to start your day intentionally rather than reactively. Small morning wins create momentum. When you complete a positive action early in the day, you build confidence. That confidence makes it easier to complete the next task. One good decision leads to another. Before long, you have created a chain of productive actions. Imagine a student who starts the day by reviewing notes for 10 minutes. That simple habit increases confidence before classes begin. Imagine a professional who spends 5 minutes planning priorities before opening email. That clarity improves productivity throughout the day. Imagine a parent who starts the morning with a short walk and a glass of water. That small investment in personal well-being can create more patience and energy for family responsibilities. Success often begins with these seemingly insignificant moments. Many people believe discipline requires dramatic effort. In reality, discipline is often built through small daily choices. The morning provides an opportunity to make those choices before distractions, responsibilities, and unexpected challenges begin competing for your attention. Of course, no morning will be perfect. Some days you will oversleep. Some days unexpected events will interrupt your plans. Life is unpredictable. The goal is not to follow a routine perfectly every single day. The goal is to return to it consistently. Remember that even a 5-minute routine is better than no routine at all. Small improvements practiced regularly are far more powerful than ambitious plans that are abandoned after a few days. As you continue building your discipline loop, pay attention to how you begin your mornings. The habits you choose during the first hour often influence the choices you make for the rest of the day. When you start with purpose, you are more likely to continue with purpose. The lesson of this chapter is simple. Strong mornings create productive days. You do not need a perfect routine, a perfect schedule, or a perfect life. You simply need a few positive habits that help you begin each day with intention. Before moving on to the next chapter, create your own 20-minute morning routine. Choose a few simple habits such as drinking water, making your bed, stretching, planning your day, reading a few pages, or taking a short walk. Keep it realistic and easy to follow. Then commit to practicing it for the next 7 days. A better day often begins with a better morning. Chapter 4. Win your morning, win your day. Every morning, 2 people wake up at nearly the same time, but their days unfold in completely different ways. Michael's alarm rings at 6:30 a.m. He gets out of bed, drinks a glass of water, makes his bed, and spends a few minutes planning his day. Before checking his phone, he reviews his most important task and takes a short walk outside. Nothing about his routine is complicated, but it gives him a sense of direction and control before the day begins. Across town, Jason wakes up at the same time. Before he even gets out of bed, he reaches for his phone. Within minutes, he is scrolling through social media, reading messages, checking news headlines, and reacting to notifications. What starts as a quick look turns into 20 or 30 minutes. Suddenly, he feels rushed. He skips breakfast, leaves the house stressed, and spends the rest of the day trying to catch up. Neither man is smarter than the other. Neither has more talent, money, or opportunity. The difference lies in how they begin their mornings. The first hour of your day has more influence than many people realize. It often sets the tone for everything that follows. When you start your morning with intention, you are more likely to stay focused, productive, and positive throughout the day. When you begin by reacting to distractions, you often spend the rest of the day feeling scattered and overwhelmed. Think about how your mind works when you first wake up. Your brain is fresh. Your energy is usually higher than it will be later in the day. The choices you make during this time can either move you closer to your goals or pull your attention in a dozen different directions. This does not mean you need a perfect morning routine. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing they need to wake up at 5 a.m., meditate for an hour, run 10 miles, and follow a complicated schedule before they can have a successful day. For most people, that approach is unrealistic and difficult to maintain. The goal is not perfection. The goal is consistency. A strong morning routine should support your life, not control it. It should be simple enough that you can repeat it, even on busy days. Remember, discipline grows through consistency, not complexity. One of the easiest habits to start with is drinking a glass of water shortly after waking up. After several hours of sleep, your body is naturally dehydrated. Drinking water helps you feel more awake and energized. It is a small action, but it immediately sends a message to yourself that the day has begun with a positive choice. Another simple habit is making your bed. At first, this may seem unimportant. After all, you will probably return to it later. But making your bed creates an early sense of accomplishment. It is a small win that takes only a minute or two. More importantly, it begins building momentum. You have already completed one positive task before the day truly starts. Planning your day is another powerful habit. You do not need an elaborate system. A few minutes spent identifying your most important tasks can make a significant difference. When you know what matters most, you are less likely to waste time reacting to distractions. Instead of wondering what to do next, you already have a clear direction. Reading a few pages of a book can also improve your morning. Many people spend the first moments of their day consuming information from social media, news, or entertainment. While there is nothing wrong with these activities in moderation, they often fill your mind with noise before you have focused on your own goals. Reading even a few pages of a positive or educational book can provide inspiration and valuable ideas that stay with you throughout the day. Physical movement is another habit worth considering. This does not mean you need an intense workout every morning. A few stretches, a short walk, or several minutes of light exercise can boost your energy and improve your mood. Movement wakes up both the body and the mind, making it easier to approach the day with focus. The beauty of these habits is that they are flexible. A student can spend a few minutes reviewing study goals before class. A professional can use the morning to plan priorities for work. A parent can create a short routine that fits around family responsibilities. An entrepreneur can use the quiet hours of the morning to focus on important projects before daily distractions begin. The specific habits matter less than the principle behind them. The goal is to start your day intentionally rather than reactively. Small morning wins create momentum. When you complete a positive action early in the day, you build confidence. That confidence makes it easier to complete the next task. One good decision leads to another. Before long, you have created a chain of productive actions. Imagine a student who starts the day by reviewing notes for 10 minutes. That simple habit increases confidence before classes begin. Imagine a professional who spends 5 minutes planning priorities before opening email. That clarity improves productivity throughout the day. Imagine a parent who starts the morning with a short walk and a glass of water. That small investment in personal well-being can create more patience and energy for family responsibilities. Success often begins with these seemingly insignificant moments. Many people believe discipline requires dramatic effort. In reality, discipline is often built through small daily choices. The morning provides an opportunity to make those choices before distractions, responsibilities, and unexpected challenges begin competing for your attention. Of course, no morning will be perfect. Some days you will oversleep. Some days unexpected events will interrupt your plans. Life is unpredictable. The goal is not to follow a routine perfectly every single day. The goal is to return to it consistently. Remember that even a 5-minute routine is better than no routine at all. Small improvements practiced regularly are far more powerful than ambitious plans that are abandoned after a few days. As you continue building your discipline loop, pay attention to how you begin your mornings. The habits you choose during the first hour often influence the choices you make for the rest of the day. When you start with purpose, you are more likely to continue with purpose. The lesson of this chapter is simple. Strong mornings create productive days. You do not need a perfect routine, a perfect schedule, or a perfect life. You simply need a few positive habits that help you begin each day with intention. Before moving on to the next chapter, create your own 20-minute morning routine. Choose a few simple habits such as drinking water, making your bed, stretching, planning your day, reading a few pages, or taking a short walk. Keep it realistic and easy to follow. Then commit to practicing it for the next 7 days. A better day often begins with a better morning. Chapter 5. Focus on what matters. Every achievement begins with attention. Before you can build a habit, learn a skill, improve your health, grow a business, or reach a meaningful goal, you must first decide where your focus will go. In many ways, your future is shaped by what receives your attention today. The things you consistently focus on grow stronger, while the things you ignore slowly fade away. The challenge is that maintaining focus has never been more difficult. Modern life is filled with distractions competing for our attention every minute of the day. Smartphones, social media platforms, emails, messages, videos, advertisements, and endless streams of information constantly demand a response. Many people wake up and immediately begin reacting to notifications before they have even thought about their own priorities. As a result, attention has become one of the most valuable skills of our time. People often believe that success is mainly about talent, intelligence, or hard work. While those qualities matter, they become far less effective when focus is missing. Even the most talented person will struggle to make progress if their attention is constantly divided. On the other hand, an average person with strong focus can often achieve remarkable results simply because they consistently direct their energy toward what matters most. They often appear harmless. Checking one message seems insignificant. Watching one short video feels like a small break. Looking at social media for a few minutes appears completely normal. Yet when these small interruptions happen repeatedly throughout the day, they quietly consume hours of time and weaken concentration. Daniel understood this problem better than most. Like many people, he felt busy almost every moment of the day. From the time he woke up until he went to sleep, he was constantly doing something. His phone was always nearby, and notifications arrived throughout the day. While working, he frequently checked messages. While studying, he switched between assignments, videos, and social media. Even during conversations with family and friends, his attention often drifted toward the screen in his hand. By the end of each day, Daniel felt mentally exhausted. He had spent hours moving from one task to another, yet the important projects he wanted to complete remained unfinished. He couldn't understand why he always felt busy but rarely felt productive. The answer was simple. His attention was scattered in too many directions at once. Like millions of people, Daniel had fallen into the trap of distraction. He wasn't wasting entire days doing nothing. Instead, he was losing small pieces of focus over and over again. Those small interruptions eventually added up to a significant loss of time, energy, and productivity. Chapter 6. Keep going when it's hard. Every goal feels exciting in the beginning. Starting something new often brings energy, hope, and motivation. Whether it is a fitness plan, a savings goal, a new business, or a commitment to personal growth, the early stages are usually filled with optimism. You imagine the results you want, create a plan, and feel confident about the future. At that moment, success seems straightforward. All you have to do is keep going. The challenge begins when life gets involved. Sooner or later, unexpected problems appear. Work becomes stressful, family responsibilities increase, energy levels drop, progress feels slower than expected. The excitement that once made everything feel easy begins to fade. This is the point where many people start questioning their commitment. They wonder if the goal is worth the effort or if they are capable of achieving it at all. The truth is that every meaningful goal includes obstacles. There is no path to success that is completely smooth. Difficult days are not a sign that something is wrong. They are a normal part of the journey. In fact, the moments that test your commitment often become the moments that shape your growth. Many people mistakenly believe that successful individuals rarely struggle. They imagine that disciplined people stay motivated all the time and never face setbacks. Reality tells a different story. Successful people experience frustration, disappointment, stress, and failure just like everyone else. The difference is not that they avoid difficulties, the difference is that they continue moving forward despite them. This is why consistency matters most during difficult times rather than easy ones. Anyone can stay committed when everything is going well. It is easy to exercise when you feel energetic. It is easy to save money when unexpected expenses are not appearing. It is easy to study when you feel motivated and focused. The true test of discipline happens when conditions are less than ideal. Imagine someone who starts exercising regularly. For several weeks, everything goes well. They feel stronger, healthier, and more confident. Then a busy period at work arrives. They miss a few workouts and begin feeling discouraged. At that moment, they have a choice. They can view the missed workouts as a failure and quit entirely, or they can accept the setback and return to the habit as quickly as possible. Many people choose the first option without realizing it. They miss one workout and tell themselves they have ruined their progress. They break their healthy eating plan for a day and decide to start again next month. They skip a study session and begin believing they lack discipline. Instead of recovering from a small mistake, they allow it to become a larger problem. This way of thinking is one of the biggest obstacles to long-term success. Failure is not the opposite of progress. Failure is often part of progress. Every person who achieves something meaningful experiences mistakes along the way. Athletes lose competitions. Business owners make poor decisions. Students perform badly on exams. Investors make financial errors. The people who eventually succeed are not those who avoid mistakes completely. They are the people who learn from mistakes and keep moving forward. Think about learning a new skill. Whether you are learning a language, playing an instrument, or developing a professional ability, mistakes are unavoidable. In fact, mistakes often provide the most valuable lessons. Each setback teaches you what needs improvement. Each challenge helps you become stronger and more capable. The same principle applies to personal growth. One difficult day does not erase weeks or months of positive effort. Missing a workout does not destroy your fitness progress. Spending money on an unexpected expense does not eliminate your savings habit. Having a productive week followed by a difficult day does not mean you have failed. Progress is not fragile. It is built through repeated effort over time. One of the most useful ideas for maintaining momentum is a simple rule called never miss twice. The concept is easy to understand but powerful to apply. It means that when you miss a habit, your priority should be returning to it as quickly as possible. Everyone misses a day occasionally. Life is unpredictable. Unexpected events happen. Schedules change. Energy levels fluctuate. The goal is not to avoid every mistake. The goal is to prevent one mistake from becoming a pattern. If you miss a workout today, do your best to exercise tomorrow. If you skip a study session, return to studying at the next opportunity. If you spend more money than planned, make your next financial decision a positive one. The faster you return to the habit, the less damage the setback creates. This approach removes the pressure of perfection. Instead of worrying about never making mistakes, you focus on recovering quickly when mistakes happen. Consider someone saving money for an important goal. One month, an unexpected expense forces them to use part of their savings. They could become discouraged and stop saving entirely, or they could accept the setback and continue contributing what they can. Over time, the person who continues will always outperform the person who quits. The same pattern appears in business. Every successful entrepreneur faces obstacles, failed ideas, and disappointing results. What separates successful business owners from unsuccessful ones is often their ability to adapt, learn, and continue moving forward after setbacks. Personal development works the same way. Growth is rarely a straight line. There will be periods of rapid progress and periods of slow improvement. Some days you will feel confident and motivated. Other days you will feel frustrated and uncertain. The important thing is not how you feel on any single day. The important thing is whether you keep showing up. Patience is an essential part of this process. Many people underestimate how long meaningful change takes. They expect dramatic results within days or weeks. When progress appears slower than expected, they become discouraged. However, lasting success is usually the result of consistent effort over months and years, rather than sudden breakthroughs. Be patient with yourself. Growth takes time. Habits take time, results take time. The person you want to become is built through hundreds of small decisions repeated consistently. At the same time, patience should not become an excuse for inaction. Continue taking small steps forward. Continue learning from mistakes. Continue returning to your habits when setbacks occur. Progress may be slower than you would like, but every positive action is moving you in the right direction. Remember that difficult periods do not last forever. Challenges eventually pass. Energy returns. Motivation returns. Opportunities return. The habits you maintain during difficult times often determine the results you experience when conditions improve. The lesson of this chapter is simple but powerful. One bad day does not ruin progress. One mistake does not define you. One setback does not erase the effort you have already invested. What matters most is your willingness to begin again. Before moving to the next chapter, take a moment to identify one area of your life where you have stopped instead of restarted. Maybe it is exercise, learning, saving money, reading, or working toward an important goal. Commit to taking one small action today to restart that habit. Do not focus on perfection, focus on returning. Sometimes the most important step forward is simply deciding not to quit. Chapter 7. Build better money habits. Money is often viewed as a numbers problem, but in reality, it is usually a habits problem. Two people can earn nearly the same income and live in the same city, yet experience completely different financial outcomes. One person constantly feels stressed about money, struggles to save, and lives paycheck to paycheck. The other gradually builds financial security, saves consistently, and feels more confident about the future. The difference is not always found in how much they earn. More often, it is found in the daily decisions they make. Consider two co-workers who receive the same salary. Both work similar hours and have access to the same opportunities. One spends money without much thought. Small purchases happen throughout the week, and larger purchases are often made on impulse. Saving money is something they plan to do later, when there is extra income available. The other co-worker approaches money differently. They pay attention to spending, save a small amount from every paycheck, and think carefully before making purchases. At first, the difference between them seems small, but after several years, the gap becomes significant. One has built financial stability, while the other continues to struggle. This example highlights an important lesson. Financial success is often the result of small habits repeated over time. Just as healthy habits improve physical health and productive habits improve career success, financial habits shape your financial future. The choices you make today may seem insignificant, but they gradually create the results you experience tomorrow. Many people assume that improving their finances requires a dramatic change. They believe they need a much higher income before they can save money or improve their situation. While earning more can certainly help, income alone does not guarantee financial success. History is filled with examples of people who earned large incomes but still struggled financially because their spending habits grew just as quickly as their earnings. Every day, people make dozens of financial decisions without thinking much about them. A coffee purchased on the way to work, an online order made late at night, a subscription that is rarely used, or a small impulse purchase during a shopping trip may seem harmless on their own. None of these decisions will likely ruin a person's finances. The challenge is that these choices rarely happen only once. They become habits, and habits repeated hundreds of times create powerful results. The same principle works in a positive direction. Saving a small amount regularly may not seem impressive at first. Setting aside a little money each week may feel insignificant compared to larger financial goals. However, those small savings accumulate over time. The discipline of saving consistently often matters more than the amount saved in the beginning. One of the most important financial skills is delayed gratification. This means choosing a greater benefit in the future, instead of seeking immediate satisfaction in the present. Delayed gratification is not about never spending money or never enjoying life. It is about learning to balance today's desires with tomorrow's goals. Imagine someone who wants to build an emergency fund. Each time they receive extra money, they face a choice. They can spend it immediately on something they want, or they can save part of it for future security. The first option provides instant satisfaction. The second option requires patience. Yet over time, the person who consistently chooses the second option often experiences greater freedom and less financial stress. One reason many people struggle financially is because of something known as lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation happens when spending increases every time income increases. A person receives a raise and immediately upgrades their lifestyle. They buy more expensive clothes, eat out more often, upgrade devices, or move into a larger home, upgrade devices, or move into a larger home, upgrade devices, or move into a larger home, upgrade devices, or move into a larger home. As a result, their income grows, but their financial situation remains largely unchanged. At first glance, lifestyle inflation seems harmless. After all, people naturally want to enjoy the rewards of their hard work. The problem occurs when every increase in income is matched by an increase in spending. Instead of creating financial progress, higher earnings simply create higher expenses. Disciplined people approach income increases differently. While they may enjoy some of the rewards, they also use part of the additional income to strengthen their financial future. They increase savings, pay down debt, or build a financial cushion. This approach allows their financial security to grow alongside their income. One practical habit that can make a significant difference is tracking expenses. Many people underestimate how much they spend because they never take the time to look closely at where their money goes. Tracking expenses creates awareness. Once you know exactly how your money is being used, it becomes easier to make better decisions. Another powerful habit is paying yourself first. Many people spend money throughout the month and save whatever remains at the end. Unfortunately, there is often very little left to save. Paying yourself first means setting aside savings before spending money on other things. Even a small amount saved consistently can create meaningful progress over time. Avoiding impulse purchases is another valuable habit. Many purchases are driven by emotion rather than necessity. A person sees a sale, feels excited, and buys something they had never planned to purchase. The excitement usually fades quickly, but the financial impact remains. Creating a habit of waiting before making non-essential purchases can reduce unnecessary spending and improve financial discipline. The compound effect applies to money just as it applies to habits. Small financial decisions repeated consistently create results that become increasingly visible over time. Spending a little less, saving a little more, and making thoughtful decisions may not seem exciting today. However, these actions gradually build financial strength and confidence. Financial improvement does not require perfection. Everyone makes mistakes with money from time to time. The goal is not to make perfect financial decisions every day. The goal is to make slightly better decisions more often. Small improvements repeated consistently are far more valuable than occasional bursts of financial discipline. It is also important to remember that building better money habits is not only about increasing wealth, it is about creating freedom and reducing stress. Good financial habits provide options. They allow you to handle unexpected expenses, pursue opportunities, and feel more confident about the future. No matter where you are financially today, improvement is possible. You do not need a perfect income, a perfect plan, or expert knowledge. You simply need a willingness to make better choices one step at a time. Every positive financial habit strengthens your future. Every disciplined decision moves you closer to financial stability. The lesson of this chapter is simple. Wealth grows from disciplined habits. Financial success is rarely created by a single decision. It is built through hundreds of small choices, repeated consistently over time. Before moving to the next chapter, give yourself a simple challenge. Track every expense you make for one day. Write down everything, no matter how small. Then review the list and identify one spending habit that does not truly add value to your life. Awareness is often the first step toward financial improvement, and one small change today can create meaningful results tomorrow. Chapter 8. Discipline in Relationships. When people think about discipline, they usually think about productivity, exercise, money, or achieving goals. They imagine waking up early, sticking to routines, or working hard toward success. While discipline certainly plays an important role in these areas, one of its most powerful effects is often overlooked. Discipline has the ability to strengthen relationships and create deeper connections with the people who matter most. Consider two lifelong friends, Sarah and Emily. They did not maintain their friendship because of grand gestures or extraordinary moments. Instead, their bond grew stronger through small, consistent actions over many years. They checked in on each other during difficult times, remembered important events, made time for conversations, and continued showing up even when life became busy. Neither friendship-changing event nor dramatic act created their trust. It was built gradually through hundreds of small moments of reliability and care. This is how most strong relationships are formed. Trust rarely appears overnight. It grows through consistency. Every promise kept, every meaningful conversation, every moment of support, and every act of kindness becomes another brick in the foundation of a relationship. Over time, those small actions create something strong enough to withstand challenges, disagreements, and difficult seasons of life. Many people believe relationships succeed because of love, friendship, or compatibility alone. While those qualities are important, they are not always enough. Relationships also require discipline. They require the willingness to consistently invest time, attention, and effort, even when life becomes busy or inconvenient. Think about what makes someone reliable. A reliable person follows through on commitments. They do what they say they will do. They show up when they are needed. They remember important responsibilities and take them seriously. These behaviors may seem simple, but each one requires discipline. Being dependable is not usually the result of a single decision. It is the result of consistent choices repeated over time. Listening is another example. Most people want to be heard, understood, and valued. Yet truly listening to another person can be surprisingly difficult. Conversations often compete with phones, notifications, work responsibilities, and countless distractions. Many people hear words without fully paying attention. Being present requires discipline. It means choosing to focus completely on the person in front of you, rather than allowing your attention to drift elsewhere. Imagine having a conversation with someone who constantly checks their phone while you are speaking. Even if they hear your words, you may feel unimportant. Now imagine speaking with someone who gives you their full attention, maintains eye contact, and genuinely listens. The difference is significant. One interaction weakens connection, while the other strengthens it. Small acts of appreciation also play a powerful role in relationships. Everyone wants to feel valued. Unfortunately, people often assume their loved ones already know how much they care. As a result, appreciation goes unspoken. Over time, this can create emotional distance. Simple words of gratitude, encouragement, or recognition can make a meaningful difference. A spouse who says thank you for everyday efforts strengthens a marriage. A parent who acknowledges a child's hard work builds confidence. A friend who sends an encouraging message during a difficult week reinforces a valuable connection. These actions may seem small, but their impact often lasts much longer than expected. Many relationships suffer not because of one major mistake, but because of neglect. Life becomes busy, responsibilities increase, work demands attention. Gradually, people stop investing in their relationships with the same consistency they once did. Calls become less frequent, conversations become shorter, quality time becomes rare. The relationship does not usually end suddenly. Instead, it slowly weakens due to a lack of attention. This process is similar to what happens with habits. Just as positive habits require consistent effort to maintain, relationships require regular care. Ignoring a relationship for months and expecting it to remain strong is similar to ignoring your health and expecting to remain fit. Growth requires ongoing attention. Fortunately, strengthening relationships does not require dramatic changes. In most cases, small, consistent actions are far more effective than occasional grand gestures. A short phone call to check on a family member can mean more than an expensive gift. A thoughtful message can strengthen a friendship. Spending uninterrupted time with a loved one can improve a relationship more than many material things ever could. One practical habit is simply checking in with important people regularly. You do not need a special reason. A quick message asking how someone is doing can remind them that they matter. Another helpful habit is remembering important dates. Birthdays, anniversaries, achievements, and meaningful milestones provide opportunities to strengthen connections through simple acts of recognition. Being fully present during conversations is another powerful practice. In a world filled with distractions, giving someone your complete attention is a meaningful gift. Put away your phone. Listen carefully. Ask questions. Show genuine interest in what they are saying. These small actions communicate respect and care. Helping without being asked is another way to strengthen relationships. When you notice a need and take action without waiting for a request, you demonstrate thoughtfulness and reliability. Whether helping a family member with a task, supporting a friend during a difficult period, or assisting a colleague with a challenge, these actions build trust and goodwill. Discipline also helps during difficult moments. Every relationship experiences misunderstandings, disagreements, and frustrations. In those moments, it can be tempting to react emotionally, avoid communication, or hold grudges. Discipline allows you to pause, listen, communicate respectfully, and focus on solutions instead of conflict. It helps protect relationships during times when emotions are running high. Strong relationships are not built by perfection. No one says the right thing every time. No one remembers every important date or handles every situation flawlessly. The goal is not perfection. The goal is consistency. Small acts of care performed repeatedly create stronger bonds than occasional displays of affection, followed by long periods of neglect. As you continue building your discipline loop, remember that success is not only measured by goals achieved, money earned, or habits developed. The quality of your relationships also shapes the quality of your life. The people around you provide support, encouragement, wisdom, and connection. Investing in those relationships is one of the most valuable uses of your time and energy. The lesson of this chapter is simple but powerful. Consistency builds trust. Trust grows when people know they can depend on you, when they feel heard, and when they regularly experience your care and attention. Before moving to the next chapter, take a moment to think about one important person in your life. It could be a friend, family member, spouse, mentor, or colleague. Reach out to them today. Send a message, make a phone call, or spend a few minutes having a meaningful conversation. One small action may strengthen a connection that continues to grow for years to come. Chapter 9. Become the person you want to be. For years, Michael focused on goals. He wanted to become healthier, more confident, financially secure, and successful in his career. At the beginning of every year, he wrote ambitious goals in a notebook and promised himself that things would be different. He imagined the life he wanted and often felt inspired by the possibilities ahead. The problem was that his daily behavior rarely changed. He wanted better health but continued skipping exercise. He wanted financial security but spent money without a plan. He wanted greater confidence but avoided challenges that made him uncomfortable. Each time he failed to reach a goal, he became frustrated and wondered why change seemed so difficult. Everything began to shift when Michael stopped focusing only on outcomes and started paying attention to his habits. Instead of asking, "What do I want to achieve?" he began asking, "What kind of person do I want to become?" That simple change transformed the way he approached personal growth. Rather than chasing goals alone, he focused on becoming the type of person who naturally produced those results through daily actions. This is one of the most powerful ideas in personal development. Lasting transformation is not only about achieving goals, it is about changing your identity. Most people think success works like this. First you achieve a result, then you become a different person. In reality, the process often works in the opposite direction. You begin acting like the person you want to become, and over time those actions create the results you desire. Think about someone who wants to become healthy. Their goal might be to lose weight or improve fitness. While those goals can be motivating, they do not create change by themselves. Real change happens when the person starts behaving like a healthy individual. They exercise regularly, make better food choices, and prioritize their well-being. The identity comes first, and the results follow. The same principle applies to every area of life. A person who wants to become financially responsible begins making thoughtful financial decisions. A person who wants to become a successful learner develops the habit of studying consistently. A person who wants to become confident starts taking small actions that require courage. Your habits shape your identity because every action sends a message about who you are becoming. When you read a few pages of a book, you reinforce the identity of someone who values learning. When you save money instead of spending it impulsively, you reinforce the identity of someone who manages money wisely. When you complete a workout, you strengthen the identity of someone who cares about their health. Each action may seem small, but together they create a powerful story about who you are. Many people underestimate the importance of these small actions because they focus only on immediate results. They exercise once and expect dramatic changes. They save money for a week and expect financial transformation. When quick results do not appear, they become discouraged. However, the true value of a habit often lies in the identity it reinforces. A single workout may not dramatically change your body, but it strengthens the belief that you are someone who exercises. A single study session may not make you an expert, but it strengthens the belief that you are someone who learns and grows. These identity shifts may seem invisible at first, but they gradually transform how you see yourself. Confidence develops in much the same way. Many people believe confidence comes from positive thinking alone. They tell themselves they need to feel confident before they take action. Unfortunately, this approach rarely works. It is difficult to convince yourself that you are capable when you have no evidence to support that belief. Real confidence is built through action. Every time you follow through on a commitment, you prove something to yourself. Every time you keep a promise, complete a task, or overcome a challenge, you create evidence that you are capable. Confidence is not created by waiting, it is created by doing. Imagine someone who is afraid of public speaking. They may spend years wishing they were more confident, yet confidence will not magically appear. It begins when they take small actions, such as speaking in a meeting, sharing an idea, or practicing in front of a small group. Each experience builds evidence. Over time, that evidence creates genuine confidence. The same process applies to fitness, learning, work, finances, and personal growth. Small actions repeated consistently change how you see yourself. A person who exercises regularly starts viewing themselves as an active person. A person who studies every day begins seeing themselves as a dedicated learner. A person who consistently saves money starts viewing themselves as financially responsible. A person who follows through on commitments begins seeing themselves as disciplined and reliable. These changes do not happen overnight. They happen gradually, often without you noticing. Day by day, your habits shape your identity. Then your identity begins shaping your choices. One helpful question can guide this process. What would my best self do in this situation? This question creates a powerful shift in thinking. Instead of focusing on what feels easiest in the moment, you focus on what aligns with the person you want to become. Imagine you are deciding whether to exercise or skip a workout. Ask yourself, what would my best self do? If you are deciding whether to spend money impulsively or save it, ask the same question. If you are deciding whether to study, work on a goal, or procrastinate, pause and consider what your best self would choose. The answer is not always easy, but it is usually clear. Your best self is not perfect. Your best self still faces challenges, experiences setbacks, and makes mistakes. The difference is that your best self continues moving in the right direction. They make choices that align with their values and goals, even when those choices require effort. Over time, these decisions accumulate. One good choice may not seem significant, but hundreds of good choices create a completely different life. Every positive action strengthens the identity you are building. Every disciplined choice moves you closer to the person you want to become. Remember that transformation is a process, not an event. You do not become confident, successful, healthy, or disciplined overnight. These qualities are developed through repeated actions over time. The goal is not to become a different person tomorrow. The goal is to become slightly better today than you were yesterday. As you continue building your discipline loop, Pay attention to the habits you practice each day. They are doing more than creating results. They are shaping your identity. They are determining who you become. The lesson of this chapter is simple but powerful. Every action is a vote for who you become. Each choice you make supports a certain version of yourself. The question is whether your actions are supporting the future you truly want. Before moving to the final chapter, choose one habit that reflects the person you want to become. It does not need to be complicated. It could be reading for 10 minutes, taking a daily walk, saving a small amount of money, practicing a skill, or completing an important task. Then commit to that habit consistently. Remember, you are not just building a habit, you are building the person you want to become. Chapter 10. The Discipline Loop for Life. Many people view discipline as a temporary challenge. They treat it like a short-term project that lasts only until a goal is achieved. They become disciplined for a few weeks to lose weight, save money, complete a course, or prepare for an important event. Once the goal is reached, or once motivation fades, they return to old habits and familiar routines. This approach creates a cycle that many people know well. They start with excitement, work hard for a period of time, lose momentum, and eventually begin again from the beginning. Months and even years can pass in this pattern. Progress is made, but it rarely lasts because discipline is treated as something temporary rather than something permanent. The truth is that lasting success is not built through short bursts of effort. It is built through a lifestyle of consistent action. The people who create meaningful results do not depend on occasional motivation. They develop habits and systems that allow them to keep moving forward long after the excitement of a new goal has disappeared. This idea is at the heart of the discipline loop. Throughout this book, we have explored a simple but powerful truth. Small actions repeated consistently can transform a life. The goal was never to become perfect. The goal was to create a system that helps you continue taking positive action, even on the days when motivation is nowhere to be found. The journey began with an important lesson. Stop waiting for motivation. Many people delay action because they do not feel ready. They wait for inspiration, confidence, or the perfect moment. But action is what creates motivation, not the other way around. Progress begins when you take the first step, regardless of how you feel. From there, we explored the power of small habits. Lasting change rarely comes from dramatic actions. It comes from small behaviors repeated consistently over time. Reading a few pages each day, saving a little money each week, exercising for a few minutes, or taking one small step toward a goal may seem insignificant in the moment. Yet these actions accumulate and create remarkable results. We also learned that discipline becomes easier when we create supportive environments. Relying on willpower alone is exhausting. Good systems reduce friction and make positive choices easier. Preparing for success before temptation appears allows discipline to become more automatic and sustainable. The importance of strong mornings showed us how daily momentum is created. The way you begin your day often influences the choices you make throughout the rest of it. Small wins early in the morning create energy, focus, and confidence that carry forward into other areas of life. Focus became another essential part of the process. In a world filled with distractions, the ability to concentrate on what matters has become a valuable skill. Attention is one of your most important resources. The more intentionally you direct it, the more progress you can make toward meaningful goals. We also discussed resilience and the ability to continue during difficult times. Every worthwhile goal includes setbacks. Challenges are not signs that you should quit. They are opportunities to strengthen your commitment. Learning to recover quickly from mistakes and embracing the idea of never miss twice helps maintain momentum even when life becomes complicated. Financial discipline showed us that wealth is often shaped more by habits than income. Small financial decisions made consistently over time create stability, security, and freedom. Just as healthy habits improve physical well-being, disciplined money habits improve financial well-being. Relationships reminded us that discipline is not limited to productivity or achievement. Showing up consistently for the people who matter, keeping promises, listening carefully, and expressing appreciation all require intentional effort. Strong relationships are built the same way strong habits are built, through small actions repeated over time. Finally, we explored the connection between habits and identity. Every action sends a message about who you are becoming. Each positive choice strengthens the identity you want to build. Every time you follow through on a commitment, you cast a vote for the person you wish to become. At first glance, these lessons may seem separate. In reality, they are deeply connected. Together, they form the discipline loop. When you build one positive habit, it often strengthens another. A consistent morning routine improves focus. Better focus increases productivity. Increased productivity creates confidence. Greater confidence makes it easier to stay committed during challenges. Consistency during challenges reinforces your identity as a disciplined person. That identity encourages even better habits in the future. This is how momentum is created. The discipline loop is not a single habit or technique. It is a cycle of positive actions that support one another. Each good choice makes the next good choice slightly easier. Over time, discipline becomes less about forcing yourself and more about becoming the type of person who naturally follows through. This process is available to anyone. You do not need extraordinary talent, perfect circumstances, or unlimited motivation. Ordinary people achieve extraordinary results every day through consistent effort. A person who reads 10 pages each day may finish dozens of books over several years. Someone who saves a small amount from every paycheck can gradually build financial security. A person who exercises regularly for years often achieves results that once seemed impossible. The key is not intensity. The key is consistency. One of the most important lessons to remember is that growth never truly ends. There is no final destination where discipline is no longer needed. Every stage of life presents new goals, challenges, and opportunities. The purpose of discipline is not to reach perfection. The purpose is to continue improving. Continuous improvement means focusing on becoming slightly better over time. It means making progress even when that progress feels small. It means understanding that success is not measured only by major achievements, but also by the daily choices that lead to those achievements. As you move forward, consider creating your own personal discipline loop. Think about the habits that support the life you want to build. Identify the routines that align with your values and goals. Start small, focus on consistency, allow your habits to reinforce one another, and create positive momentum. Remember that discipline should support your life, not control it. The goal is not to become rigid or obsessed with perfection. The goal is to build a lifestyle that helps you grow while still allowing room for flexibility, enjoyment, and balance. There will still be difficult days. You will still make mistakes. You will still encounter setbacks. That is part of being human. What matters most is your willingness to keep going. Every day provides another opportunity to take a step forward. The lesson of this final chapter is simple but powerful. Success belongs to those who keep showing up, not those who are perfect, not those who are the most talented, not those who never fail. Success belongs to the people who continue taking positive action, even when progress feels slow. As you finish this book, give yourself one final challenge. Identify the first habit you will commit to starting today. Make it simple, realistic, and meaningful. Then take action immediately. Do not wait for motivation. Do not wait for tomorrow. Start now. The choice to become the person you are capable of becoming. Your future is built one action at a time. The next action is yours.